Welcome to the Infernal Schoolhouse Podcast, Explosions and Fire. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Aaron.
And today on the podcast, we're excited to be joined by Thomas Solar, the founder of Dungeons and Drafts. Welcome, Thomas.
Hello. Hi.
So happy to have you today. So let's just get started by having you introduce yourself and how you came to create Dungeons and Drafts.
Yeah, definitely. I always happy to talk D&D. Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeons and Drafts. There's just so much good things to talk about. My name's Thomas Solar, 36 years old with a badass wife and two awesome kids. We live in Philadelphia. Yeah, there's that. there's a strong just family first kind of input for a lot of this. But we live in Philadelphia, which is where we got our start with this. Kind of professionally. We used to kind of run it for fun. Down in Orlando, there was a brewery that I worked with, and we did it there, but the brewery closed. A lot of changes happened, and all of a sudden, my wife and I ended up in Philadelphia. And as a way to sort of meet new people in the area and help a local business, I got into a conversation about it with a brewer out of New Jersey. His name's Joe. He's been one of my first DMs out of Philly. Great guy. And he was politely in my ear for a month asking, when are you going to start Dungeons and Drafts in the Philly area? And we did our very first event August 2022 at Black Cat Tavern. We had a really good meeting with them, and the pitch was basically, hey, I want to bring D&D one-shots to your bar on a traditionally slow night. I want us to have a low volume night. That way our DMs and players have the environment to engage each other and storytell. But I also want to have the opportunity where we can increase your taproom sales. I want this to be a win-win for us. And unlike other, type of event nights like trivia or bingo or a musician, I'm not going to ask for a check. Normally you would pay your trivia host or you pay your musicians. I just want some tables, whether it's you want to give us one table off to the side or you want to give us the whole brew house that can fit 10 tables. I just want some tables, and I want 3 to 4 hours of your traditionally slow night. And that was the pitch, and it worked. At Black Cat Tavern, we did our very first event. We sold out 5 6-player tables within a week, so that was 30 tickets. And oh my gosh, it was super eye-opening. Like, there was kind of something to this that was like the demand and the community behind it instantly. And from that point, we actually got on the radar for a couple of the bigger breweries in the Philadelphia area, Cartesian Brewing, Love City Brewing, Yards Brewing. They reached out to us and they asked, hey, we saw the pictures. Hey, we've heard, like, word of mouth. People are really talking about this D&D thing that you're doing. Could you do that at our brewery? That would be really fun. Yes. Yeah, I think we can. Let me see if I can find some more DMs. Let me see, like, if we can kind of build a bigger team, and like, we will bring you as many DMs as possible. All the DMs are subcontractors, where basically I'll present our team of DMs with a location, and I'll let them know, hey, we can fit 3 6-player tables. Okay, if only one DM is available, then we're only going to put 6 tickets on. I don't ever want to force a DM or hard schedule them into a situation, because every DM is a person. They're balancing a love life, a personal life, a work life, and we just want this awesome Dungeons and Drafts thing to exist in the background kind of their life. And use it as an opportunity for them to get out and meet new people, test a new one-shot idea, and just have fun with this game that's so fun for everybody.
I love it. And you have a brewing background too, correct?
Yeah, back in Orlando, actually, I spent close to 20 years. I think it was like 18 or 19 was the number, but I spent close to 20 years as a entertainer performer for Disney, Universal, Nickelodeon, Medieval Times, Norwegian Cruise Line. I loved that life. I love making people just genuinely physically happy. And so being a performer was super fun, but unfortunately, living contract to contract, gig to gig, it's not stable enough to have a family. So I switched career paths, and another big love of mine is the brewing community. Lots of support, lots of inclusivity. And at 30 years old, I got my start as a barback and worked my way up to bartender, helped run the tap room, was the sales rep, brand ambassador, social media, and then got to be a cellarman and worked my way up to be part of the brew crew at the brewery down there. But like I said, unfortunately they closed, and I was able to get a job in Philly with a mobile canning company that picked me up pretty quickly. And they were excited to just have someone with a brewing experience. And so it's fun having that brewing experience because I definitely know the front end, the back end, when talking to a brewery, when talking to, True Brewing, when talking to Great Divide. I'm able to sink back into like old taproom manager days and be able to verbalize better the needs of that host location. It's not just like hey, we just want to come in and play D&D. It's, we want to come in and help you out as well. You're an awesome host to give us some tables. And I know if you were to walk around and see a table full of water and Diet Coke, you're not going to invite us back again. So we need to support you in some way. And that doesn't mean that the DMs have to drink beer. We have plenty of DMs on our team that don't drink and plenty of players that ask for NA. But as long as we're supporting the local business that's supporting us, hey, it's a win-win. I enjoy it.
Great. So tell us a little bit about the nexus between beer culture and D&D culture, or just TTRPG culture in general.
A lot of nerds in the most loving possible way. The beer nerds and the TTRPG nerds. We're very passionate about this little thing that we love, whether it's the dice, whether it's the beer. We want to talk about it. We want to share it. We want to bring other people close together and make a moment out of it. I remember back when craft beer was really on its rise, everybody's into, got to try this new hazy IPA. Oh, hey, got to try this new bourbon barrel-aged stout. You hold these beers very close to you and you want to share them with the people you love. And that's almost the exact same thing when it comes to TTRPGs and D&D is, man, I love this world that I've created, or I love this world that I've been a part of. I wish I could bring other people, other friends of mine into it. So I think there's just a ton of passion and community behind these two, what feel like very different worlds, drinking and tabletop. No, I just think there's definitely that ton of similarity.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
agree. Having been to one of the events, I can definitely see it just felt right. It almost felt like, so you're in a tavern. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe with all of the beer. So I dig that. You mentioned this a little bit about how it started, but can you give us a little bit of comparison of how it started and how it's going now?
Yeah, absolutely. It started very kind of just simple, laid back. We're doing it here in Philly. We're going to some different places. And then the really big turning point was we were working with a brewery here in the Philadelphia area, Sly Fox Brewing. They have a few tap rooms in the area. They were doing an internal meeting talking about, hey, these are the events we're doing. Hey, this, that, the other. They got to talking to their Pittsburgh tap room. And the Pittsburgh management team heard, and they said, well, we want to do D&D. Do you think, I know they're out of Philly, but do you think they would do that over here? And so they shared my email, and that was our huge turning point where, oh my gosh, I remember looking at my wife at Des and saying, it was a very movie moment of like, I think we have something here. If we can do this in other areas and in other states, could I quit my job? Like, could we actually pull this off? And sure enough, it was July 2023 that we did our debut in Pittsburgh at Sly Fox Brewing. And around that same time, landed on the radar for Wild East Brewing out of Brooklyn. Oh my gosh, now we're in 3 different areas. Philadelphia itself is naturally close to just South Jersey and Delaware. So while we were in the midst of going to Pittsburgh and while we were going to New York City, we were also expanding into Delaware and Jersey. So we kind of accidentally stumbled into 2 more locations. And that's when this whole idea of, okay, well, we're doing all these Dungeons and Drafts things and people are coming to the website and they're just confused on where to go. I'm in Pittsburgh. How do I find out where my Pittsburgh events are? And that's when we came up with the idea of calling them guilds. Way more fun and thematic than a branch or a chapter. No, you're going to go to the Dungeons and Drafts Pittsburgh Guild. You go to the page, you go to the website, you'll be able to find all your Pittsburgh tickets. And from there, it jumped into a leap down to North Carolina. I'm very lucky that one of my best friends lives in Asheville, North Carolina. And as I'm sure you know, Asheville is another huge beer scene. You could throw a baseball and you'll hit 4 different breweries, cideries, meadery. Everyone's down there. It's another just great community for that. And we had spent a year of growing, and we're testing, and we're trying to make this work in other cities. And that's when January of this year, we debuted in Asheville at Wicked Weed Brewing, which was very exciting. Wicked Weed gave us their entire Funkatorium, and we were able to host 12 6-player tables. So that was 72 tickets that we actually sold out. Very, very fun. That was another huge landing point because it put us on the radar for Highwire Brewing in Knoxville, put us on the radar for Dissolver out of Durham, North Carolina. So we have chapters all along the South there. And then the next big leap was, I always had it on my roadmap, I really want to go to Denver. Denver's a huge beer scene. Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins. I want to visit selfishly, but I would also love to bring our business there as well. And call it luck, call it blessing, but one of my New York City DMs, Sarah, and she's actually one of our guild leaders. She's able to help a lot of the newer DMs. And she came to me privately, sent a message and said, hey, I think I overheard you want to go to Denver. I used to work at True Brewing. I think I could maybe find you an email or something if you want to cold call introduce. Yes, absolutely. I will. I'm very used to cold call introducing. So sure, let's make the leap. And now we're just very excited that we debuted in Denver just recently. We debuted in Washington, D.C. recently in August. We are going to Cincinnati. We are going to Hartford, Connecticut. And then actually just today, I got an email from a brewery out in Austin, Texas. They asked, hey, can you come do this? And that's kind of where we're at right now, is trying to just meet this constant demand from places that are finding out about us. So I'm trying to do my best to keep up. It's a little bit of a one-man show for social media content, for the website, for tickets, for every DM is in a specific Discord server for their location. So we're trying to get a lot of information out to them as well. And that would be the biggest difference, is just, holy crap, we've expanded. We can actually say we're kind of across the country right now.
It doesn't surprise me that people were interested, but I think I'm a little surprised at just how much interest and how aggressive people are with you for it, rather than just being passively open to it. I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree, because there's definitely days when I go, this like makes sense. Mm-hmm. How and I'll say, like, how has no one been doing this? But there's definitely other breweries, other tap rooms, other people that are doing a very similar thing. I did not corner the market on doing D&D in a bar. We're just trying to make it as organized and as efficient as possible for both the players, actually for 3 groups, the players, the DMs, and the businesses themselves. We're just really trying to bring a super organized event to everybody. So it's really, really cool now that we are a proper brand, and man, I just can't think of anything else but organized. A lot of people are now just reaching out. The demand is high, so we're trying to do our best to keep up.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So I know that it's hard a lot of times to get players and DMs at the same table. So would you say that herding DMs often is like herding cats?
Yes. Yeah. Herding cats and sheep at the same time.
There you go. That's the analogy for the players and for the DM.
Because I mean, everyone's all over the place. Everyone wants. It's tough. It's a lot of groups that you're trying to make happy. We try to do pre-made characters, for example, and some players definitely message and they say, well, I want to bring in my own character sheet. Okay, we are only limited to 3 hours at this event space. So to help with our plug and play experience, our DMs kind of just make up their own pre-made characters and you get to select that. If you're really hung up and you really want to like bring that character sheet, you can bring it to the DM and we'll see if we can cater to it. But that's one of the herding cats moments, is like, hey guys, we're trying to keep this organized. We're trying to keep it efficient. We're trying to make it streamlined. I know that you go to a game store or you go to a friend's house and you can bring your own character sheet and you can play as long as you want. It's definitely a lot more freedom on those fronts, but trying to herd everybody together and sort of be on the same page. Oh boy, I have grown so many gray hairs over the past 2 years.
Yeah, in my experience too, DMs are very, very particular about what happens at their table. And so yes. I do really appreciate how much autonomy you give to your DMs, because, you know, at the True event, I don't remember any guidelines other than bring your own character sheets, you pick the level, you run the table, have fun.
Yes. Yeah. That's that's my that's my pitch for DMs, is trying to make a platform for you all to storytell, to engage, to show off your art, your artist at the end of the day, and have a whole Discord server dedicated for just the DMs. That way you guys can network with each other. You can share resources. You can support each other, because there is no correct way to DM. There are so many. There's 250 DMs on all the teams across the country now. I have seen 200 ways to DM. There's so many styles to do it. It's so cool. So that's a huge part of the pitch is, hey, I just need pre-made characters. I just need you to know that we're kind of on a time constraint. But other than that, I want this to be about you at the end of the day. Yeah, sure. My wife and I are the name and the face and Dungeons and Drafts, but really people are going to come back for you. So I want you to be super happy and having a good time, and bring your minis, bring your dice, bring everything that you can, barring in mind that many bars have wobbly tables or different size tables. So be prepared for a crazy environment. But yeah, absolutely. You want to bring I just saw a DM in New Jersey. He brought an entire shipwreck to one of his events, and we posted pictures about it. It looked epic. That was so fun for his players.
Yeah. The variable I found at True was the lighting. It was so dark at the end of the night. And also they play metal music in the background. So it was like we were literally in a tavern. We're having to yell. And at the end of the night, I couldn't see the dice at all. I had to keep asking my players what I rolled. Yeah.
That's definitely a hurdle with some places where, they put on the lighting that works for them, but it's very different for a D&D table. So we do have to ask, hey, could you turn up the lighting a little bit? But I know Sarah shared a link with everybody because she had an awesome table light. It was like battery powered, and it just covered her entire table, and it looked great.
We were so jealous, and I actually have it. It's sitting on my kitchen table right now. I ordered it because that's absolutely essential. Have you ever thought about a physical building for this model? So I know, I'm wondering, like, so you have a brewing background, you do this thing now. Have you ever thought, like, man, I just want to brand this and like
110%? Yeah. It's definitely that itch where I miss my regulars, I miss customers, I miss making people visually happy, the performer side of me. It's great to see so many people happy at the event from the pictures that I can see. But I absolutely miss a building, being able to welcome people into a physical space and being able to host kind of our own more unique one-off events. Something that would be really fun would be, hey, come to our DM workshop. You've always been interested. You've been playing. Do you want to learn how to DM? Great. We have a huge lineup of all-star DMs that could teach you anything. You want to learn how to paint? We can teach you how to paint. You want to buy some dice while you're at the bar? Great. We really want to make something here in Philadelphia would be super fun. It's obviously where I live, so it's a natural hub for a starter building. But Des and I have already talked about, hey, if there's other great locations over there around the country, we could do buildings in other areas as well, just to kind of spread the wealth and spread the joy of how fun bringing a community is, and now doing it in a physical building.
Oh my God, take my money. That sounds incredible.
It would be super fun. And here in Philly, we would have a great time with it, because everybody says, oh, okay, you're going to make a nerdcore bar. Not really, I guess, but also I just want to make it Philly core. I want to put the Phillies game on while we're at the bar. I want to have music on Friday night. I want this to be a bar that brings everyone together and not exclude someone that walks in and goes, oh, okay, yeah, this is for D&D people. I'm out. Like, no. This is going to be fun for everybody.
Could be
so it would be super fun to have bars and buildings around the country and make it a core bar about their area. Oh, man, I get goosebumps thinking of future that.
That's awesome. So how do people sign up to play Dungeons and Drafts?
DungeonsandDrafts.com, which we are doing our best to constantly update and add features to it. But from there, you'll see a little button that says upcoming D&D events, and it'll drop down to every location that we are currently at. I believe we're at 13 right now. And from there, you just click an area that you're in. You'll click Denver, for example, and you'll find our next event is at Gold Spot Brewing. From there, you'll be able to click and select a DM if you have a DM preference. Some DMs might write a little, description about what they're running, or you can just click no preference and hey, it'll be a surprise when you get there. We also have other little checkboxes that you have to check off before you can even put the ticket in your cart. Most importantly, the checkbox is D&D is for everyone. We want to make sure people going into these events understand that we welcome everyone based, religion, race, gender, culture. It doesn't matter. Please, we just want to bring everyone together. Same for whether you have experience playing or you don't have experience playing. Our tables are not a place to whine and complain or make fun of someone or put someone down for not using the correct spell. None of that. So we do have a all is welcome checkbox that you have to check off. And then you can put the ticket in your cart. You're good to go from there. We get it on our end and we'll see you at the event.
Very cool. And then specifically, because I just went through this recently, but can you talk briefly about what it's like to become or request to become a DM for Dungeons and Drafts?
Yeah, definitely. So on the same page, dungeonsanddrafts.com, there's another button that says becoming a DM. There's a whole wall of text. I am so guilty for writing so much and being way too descriptive, but I'd rather be as transparent, as clear as possible. And there's this wall of text, becoming a DM. If you make it through all of that, at the end, it'll just ask, hey, email Thomas at dungeonsanddrafts.com. Hi, that's me. And I'm going to go through the emails and I will send you all of that information about what we look for about potential DMs. We have our own handbook with even more information on it. And then from there, if everyone's on the same page, we'll send you an invite to our Discord server specifically to your area. So you'll virtually meet other DMs in your area. And in the Discord server is how you'll be able to sign up for upcoming events. And you're in. That's it.
Love it. And I will say, having DM'd once and signed up for a couple more, it was an amazing experience for me. From getting on the website, speaking with you about it, running the game, being at the brewery, free beer. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that, but the True gave me 2 free beers, and I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Some host locations are really nice.
Yeah.
They'll definitely hook us up a little bit, but
props to True. They did great. But I will say that camaraderie and that connection point between DMs was really, really special and something that is relatively hard to foster. So I think that could even be another way to consider the value or the benefit for DMs in a particular city or guild would be you get to meet, watch, play with, learn from, teach other DMs. And I think it's that community just feels really, really cool to me.
It's so fun to watch unfold. The last thing about like talking community and guilds is a few months ago, we really started pushing together a Discord server called the Guild Hall. And the Guild Hall is an open invitation to every player, every DM. You can talk to someone that's in Cincinnati and ask them, hey, I'm coming here. You can ask a question and 200 DMs will be able to answer you. So our Guild Hall is also something that we're trying to push a little bit more in all the areas. That way players can be able to talk to their DMs and vice versa, which would be really, really fun.
Yeah, so cool. So cool.
That's excellent. This sounds like a lot of fun for both players and DMs, and we thank you for taking your time with us today. We're so happy to have you on the show and learn more about Dungeons and Drafts, and we're quite excited to have you in Denver now.
Thank you so much for having me. I was very nervous coming to Denver, admittedly. I'm very nervous kind of going into any city, but particularly Denver. It's an awesome community. It's great people from everything that I've heard, and then obviously the beer scene as well. So I'm really, really excited that we are bringing just an awesome, well-oiled machine kind of to your city and to new cities as well. And then maybe one day we'll have a building in Denver as well, and we can all share a beer in a tavern.
That would be so cool. And as always, thank you, dear listener, for spending time with us this week. Please check us out on our Instagram account or at our website, infernalschoolhouse.com. Oh, and we sell stuff on Etsy too.
And a quick reminder that we're about to restart our live streaming of our Monster of the Week campaign on Twitch. You can watch our bi-weekly live episodes at twitch.tv/Infernal Schoolhouse, where the next one will be Monday, August 19th. Those only stick around for 7 days on Twitch, so catch our past episodes at youtube.com/@Infernal Schoolhouse. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, all.